Hi guys, welcome to the Stage Performance Podcast. Hi guys, welcome to the Stage Performance Podcast. I'm really excited that I finally get to bring this to you. And I can't think of a better way than starting off the season with Lucy Tay. So Lucy Tay is a local singer-songwriter from Bells Hill, North Lanarkshire. She's an up-and-coming artist and a good childhood friend. I thought it would be really interesting to learn a little bit more about her journey, why she wanted to do music, and learn a little bit more about her creative process. So I hope you guys find it interesting and a really fun way to kick off the season. I'm so excited. I'm literally so excited right now.
This is mad.
You are
innit?
literally the first guest.
I'm so honoured and flattered.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect anything less
I
from being
know.
your best pal for about 20 years.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's really nice to see you again. I think some interviews are going to be like, I'm nervous for, but then there's going to be like really easy ones like this because you have that fear of, I don't know this person, but like you're very easy and you like to chat. So that's a good combination. So this is Lucy Tay. One of Bells Hill's, North Lanarkshire's finest. She's been all across Scotland doing what she does. And Lucy, let's go right back to the start, okay?
Oh,
so,
jeez.
and I'm not talking North Lanarkshire bands.
Oh,
we
PTSD
can get
from
into that. We
wow.
can get into
Okay,
that at
let's
some
do
point.
it,
At some
actually.
point, but like just at the very, very start, what is it that made you want to start writing music?
I don't really think there was one thing in particular. I think it was the whole YouTube phenomenon of going on, seeing people with acoustic guitars, which I had at 12. And I was like, oh, I can play guitar, I can sing. And then they're coming on and they're doing a cover. And then all of a sudden and here's a song I wrote. And I'm watching the videos and I'm thinking to myself, surely it can't be that difficult to write a song. So I started just writing wee jingles and like just wee stupid things. I mean, there's probably raw footage on someone's phone that we know of songs that we've written, but the first one that I did actually write was Green Eyes, and I remember it was about 2:05 in the morning,
Right.
and I wrote it in 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. And it was basically just, there was a guy at school that I really liked. He didn't like me. That's the whole premise of the song. But I kept having this wee jingle in my head of the whole, my daddy warned me but the boys had me.
That's right.
And I just kept thinking that would be like a good song. And it just all came out on paper.
And it's funny because that song I have really fond memories of being in the Grange.
Oh my
when we
gosh,
were
yeah, the open mics.
yeah, in school. And we always used to go to your gigs on it. It wasn't every Saturday that you played, but you played on quite a lot of Saturdays. And that was a place where everyone from North Lanarkshire bands would go and we would listen to you. But as much as I really, really liked that song, there was one that I liked more that you did. Then you remember it was the "You Need Me, Man, I Don't Need You."
We Ed Sheeran. Do you know, sometimes
Yeah.
there's a pub in Glasgow, it's McSorley's.
Right.
And usually when I'm ahead of schedule, I'll go, and here's a wee one that I used to sing when I was 14. It's by Ed Sheeran. And
14?
I still, yeah.
Really? Is that how long ago it was?
14 years old.
Oh, man.
And then it got regurgitated at 16, and then I stopped at 18, but no, sometimes bring it back just for the lols.
Oh, man.
And it usually is just to see how much I still remember.
Well, I think that's probably why I liked it more than anything in your set, because it was so maybe I was just living under a rock at the time, but like rap music wasn't something I listened to a lot of, at least in pop, because I really did like Linkin Park, so I did listen to rap music. But like in pop, it was like he's talking really fast, but he's also like singing. That's why I like that song, and you did it in a better key. I like the G minor more, so that's so funny. So was the Grange the first gig kind of that you did, or was there more before that?
Gosh, no. So I actually started singing with my dad in
Right.
his band. So the first gig I ever done was in a pub in Bells Hill. Can't remember if it's open now, but it was somebody's birthday party, and my dad and his band had like a 40-minute break.
Right.
So he said to me, do you want to do a wee 40-minute slot? And it was just me backing tracks, singing. I was so nervous. Didn't address the crowd once, just press play. And then I would go, this is my last song. And then I would sing, and Aye, that was my first gig, and I get paid
Really?
£40 for
No
it.
way.
It's £1 a minute. And then after that, every so often my dad would have me out with the band, and it would just be like doing wee backing things or singing a couple of songs on my own
Yeah.
and stuff. So instead of getting pocket money for cleaning my room, I got pocket money for going out and singing.
So when you were doing like if you were doing chores, you're like, where's this £1 a minute? It's not. It seems to
No, it's not that now. Times have changed, but
yeah, it's now
no,
like
that
maybe
was-
£1.50 a minute kind of thing.
yeah, something like that. A wee raise here and there, but no,
Oh,
that was
that's
like the first one I ever done. But the Grange was the first slot I done on my own. So it was the very first one, and it was, I always remember it, 7 till 10 on a Saturday. I'd get enough money to then go out and go to Megabar in
Right.
Motherwell at 11 o'clock on a Saturday. So it would basically be get your money for your night out, spend it all, repeat the next
No,
Saturday.
fair enough. It's funny. See, when you talk about addressing the crowd, do you feel like you've got a lot better at that? I mean, I'd say from observation,
Yeah.
but like, do you still feel nervous for that kind of thing, or do you feel like you're more comfortable? Because the reason why I say that is because there are some musicians, some performers that are like really comfortable when they are kind of playing. And I'd say I kind of fall more into this category, but it's like when you then have to talk. It's like you're learning how to speak English again because of that.
I think it depends on the venue for me. So getting into Maggie's, getting into McSorley's and stuff like that, it's so easy just to say as a collective, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying your evening. This next song I'm going to do, and maybe if there's like a wee story to it of why I'm singing it, or even just saying, give me a cheer. Like one of mine that I love to do is give me a cheer if you're drinking.
Right.
And people go, woo, give me a cheer if you're driving, and it's a lesser cheer. And you go, well, who's having more fun tonight? Like one of those.
That's
So-
a good line, actually. I might steal
but
that.
you can have whatever lines you want.
Yeah, it's fine.
There was a guy once that did say to me, you can say whatever you want because no one can hear what they're saying to you, but you've got a mic. Everyone can hear what you're saying to them.
It's
And he
funny.
went, and you just have to say it. Just they're all there to basically hear you and see you. So you have to then have that entertainment aspect as well.
There was a DJ I was talking to about this kind of thing, and he'll remain nameless, but what he said, and it was actually really comforting, is that when you go to speak to that crowd, a lot of the time they won't be able to understand what you're saying. So if you kind of just, they'll know. It's just a
Don't
human
cheer.
reaction that everyone's going to cheer, even though they don't know what's going on.
I do find
I've
myself.
started to borrow that.
All right,
like-
I do find myself though when I'm actually up and I don't sound as Bells Hill. So you
Right.
really have to enunciate. So I have to go, it's so nice to be here. And I have to speak really, really slowly, especially McSorley's because a lot of people aren't from Scotland. It's all
Yeah.
like Spain and France and America and stuff like that. So they can't understand you. They can't understand you at the best of times. So going on and saying, hi, I'm Lucy and I'm going to be singing for you this evening. It's not going to cut it. So yeah, slowly, eloquently, which is not me
Would you
whatsoever.
say that kind of helps, like when you're in country, do you change your accent naturally because you're kind of taking on an acting role? Like,
Not so much an acting role, but I heard it was a guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name, but he basically said that the easiest accent to understand in the world is just a basic American accent because of the way that the vowels and everything inflect, like the inflections and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of people adopt an American accent when they sing, because it means that you're going to be universally heard and universally known. So for me to sing country music with this accent doesn't work. You do need to put on like a wee bit of a southern twang and sort of, yeah, a bit of a southern drawl. So it works though.
The one song that I would say it does work is your song Glasgow. We'll talk more about that one later. But I think that's a kind of example when it's a song about Glasgow. You know, there's times when you kind of have that American accent. It's hard to see if I had to show someone that accent in that song. I think they'd find it hard where you're from.
Yeah.
Because there's certain, like when you say the line, where your faith, okay, that's Glasgow. But when you're like, Ashton Lane, that's also Glasgow. Okay, so she must be from Glasgow. And then you're, whoa, da, 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 like a lot of the words in that, you would think, okay, maybe American. Do you know, it's hard. But I think that's, yeah. Was that a challenging song to write? Or was that quite a...
Again, was sitting in my room and was playing the chords to start with. And I don't know why, but the very first line was just, oh, the seasons here may change. And I thought,
It's a good line. It's a very good line.
I wonder what could happen from here. So I just kept writing, and then Ashton Lane popped into my head. I was there maybe a couple of weeks before I wrote the song, so I still think it was in my head. And then all of a sudden it was just, why don't I just write a song about a place that has raised me kind of thing. So a good few months before that, I was actually in Manchester and was in a bar in Manchester and chatting to these like two boys, and one of them said, "So where are you from?" And we said, "Glasgow." And he went, "Oh, Glasgow's great," and all this kind of stuff. And I went, "I know, it's an amazing city." And he went, "It's not as good as Manchester though, is it?" And I went, "Aye, it is."
Yeah.
And I got into a full-on argument with this guy about where the best city in the world was, basically. And I kept saying it was Glasgow. And then we're walking away and I said to my friend, "I just love the place." I mean, and it's like people make Glasgow and the love makes Glasgow, which I think is where you'll never find a love like Glasgow came from.
Oh.
So it was all sort
okay.
of, it was all embedded in my head of, this is a good premise for a song, so why don't I write it? And if it's rubbish, I'll just put it in the back burner for a wee while and rework it. But
It's not rubbish.
it turned into something really, really good.
Do you know what's interesting about the song as well? Is like a lot, like you're now known like as a country artist. That's kind of what you do, hence the hat. But that song could quite easily just be like a Scottish song, you know. And it's one of the things I was thinking even before I spoke to you today. It was like when we used to come and see you in the Grange, you know, there was all different types of genres, even a bit of Shrek in there as well. And then you did some of the classical stuff for the North Lanarkshire Bat. I keep hinting at this. But then, like, you decided to go into country. So what made you decide to go into that? Because you were capable of a lot of other genres.
Yeah. My dad had a lot to do with it. A lot of the songs that he sang in his band were all country, and him having a lot of his family in Texas as well, it was just a very natural road to go down. When I was in the car with my dad when I was younger as well, he would always play a lot of artists like the Eagles and Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson and all this, that for me, it was just so natural to listen to those songs and then write in that genre. And then when I was out singing, people would always say, "You've got like a really nice country twang." So kind of nasally, but not enough. And it just felt really natural to go into that. And yeah, there's not really any other explanation. I think if I was to go back, if I was to choose another genre to do, it would be indie music. So kind of Arctic Monkeys and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it would still end up country. So I feel like I'm in that sort of crossover of indie country pop.
I think with a lot of people, like music lovers, they're really passionate about the music and they like to put things in boxes. But I think sometimes there's a nice sense of identity that you can have as an artist where you say, "Do you know, I like a bit of indie, I quite like a bit of country, you know, I can have my cake and eat it," you know, so that's nice. I think a good example of that actually is the song In Between, like, which is probably what I like that one. I also like What a Year Can Do. Right, I like the two of them. But In Between was probably the first time I heard a full-on guitar solo, and I think that's that indie influence you're talking about, you know, because it's country and then there's but the lyrics in that is something I think quite a lot of people can relate to, because I think everyone has been at that stage where like there's this kind of sociably acceptable age to have done a lot of things by. Where were you when you were writing this?
I was second year of uni. People in my class were getting internships to be lawyers, buying houses, going travelling, and some of them had started businesses up, like done all this stuff, and then other ones were failing classes, thinking of dropping out, didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. And I was in that sort of area where I had enough money behind me to sustain myself, but not enough to actually do stuff with it. I had enough sense about me to know that I wanted to go travelling but didn't have the courage to do it. So I was very much just in that sort of, like you said, that limbo of I've passed this one stage of my life but I've not yet reached the next stage. So I'm basically just stuck in between places right now. And yeah, the part as well about like, there's a bit of a love aspect to that song as well. I was sort of in between relationships as well, of just kind of got out of a relatively serious one and was seeing someone else. And it was that whole having to go back and then learn what their favourite colour was and all that stuff, like go right back to the beginning. It was just sort of, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like right back in between actually falling in love again and finding someone new and stuff like that too. So it just sort of grew arms and legs from there.
Here's a question I've actually just thought of when you were talking. No, it's like, see, when you're in that kind of time period, would you say that it's a scary or frustrating time?
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Really frustrating, because you're listening to all your friends and some family members and stuff talk about all the stuff that they've done, and you want to do it, but you can't. But then you'll maybe speak to someone that wants to do it and you realise how much that you've actually done, but you're still not at that stage that you want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like somebody dangling a carrot in front of you and you can't get there. And then all of a sudden you've grabbed the carrot and you're there, but then there's another bit that you need to reach. And yeah, but I feel like you need to get to that point in your life, because that's you then levelling up. Because if you just stay in that kind of in-between part, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to do what you actually want to do.
I think when you're doing the things that you are doing, you probably will feel like there's always a carrot dangling.
Mm-hmm.
But there's two ways I think that you can cope with it. One is to kind of look at the people that aren't doing anything, that could be doing something, and see when they make absolutely no progress.
Yeah.
You kind of look at that, and I'm not saying that you kind of are big-headed about it, but you look at it and say, well, I can see myself getting better, through seeing other people that could be getting better that aren't. And I've completely forgot what the second one was.
I usually do that thing. I really need to check myself for it, but I feel like as an artist, especially as a female artist and a female country artist,
Yeah.
I find myself comparing myself to a lot of people.
Right.
And then I think to myself, they've been doing this for so much longer than me, because really I'm only in year one of the Lucy Tay career.
Okay.
Of debuting at King Tut's to then, so that was a year ago. So I'm now into year two, basically. But the ones that I was at King Tut's with are maybe in year 4 or 5. And I keep thinking to myself, why am I not doing what they're doing, and why am I not as successful as them?
Mm-hmm.
But then I think to myself that even just a year ago, I had half the followers on my social media that I have now. I didn't do King Tut's. Like, that was not a premise for me to even think of. And instead of thinking about all the stuff that I need to achieve, I think of how much I actually have achieved.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel so much better about myself.
And the King Tut show was absolutely fantastic. But how did you feel about that? Like, retrospectively, of course, but like beforehand, obviously knowing how kind of prestigious that place is, and you go in and you're with people, like you say, that are kind of like a little bit more established at the time. Is there a sense of nerves that you feel going into that, which is kind of unique to that place as opposed to...
Well, for me personally, about 10 years ago, I did a music bucket list, and number 1 on it was play King Tut's.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So actually just getting the opportunity, when the email came through, I cried, because I
Aw.
thought, oh my God, I've actually achieved something with my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually doing something. I didn't eat for 3 days before it.
Really?
I was that nervous. Like,
Oh, my.
and even on the day as well, I remember going to lunch with my mum, and I kept saying, right, I need to leave in 2 hours, and I was shaking as I was eating my lunch. And I just kept being like, I'm full, I can't eat, this is awful, I don't know why I signed up to this.
But you know what's really interesting about that is, see, if that was any other venue, you could have done that in your sleep. And it's amazing how the mind gets the best of you.
Yeah.
Like, see, as much as I do think nerves is a good thing, like, because it can keep you on your toes, I think too much of it, and it's like, it's not like you can just say, hi, just don't be nervous. But like, it can really mess up things that are basic. And you think to yourself, I can do this. I know what chords are. I know how to sing. But when you get inside your own head, you know, it can really be destructive in those settings. But you didn't give into that, because one of the things that I was saying to a friend that also came to that gig, you didn't seem nervous. It was only in the aftermath when you told us about how you were feeling. But it wasn't evident when you went up. And would you say that's you kind of getting into character in that moment, right?
That was the whole way down the stairs. I was shaking, and at one point the girl that was sort of managing the night goes, right, you've got 30 seconds, are you ready? And I went, I'm not going on. I'm not doing this. I can't do this. And she basically went, yeah, kind of have to. She went, your name's on the bill. You have to do it. And I went, Oh, right. So
You
deep
just go,
breaths.
guys, I'm not feeling it, you know.
But I think it was just the concept of having,
Mhm.
there was 293 people or something there.
That's right. It was
And it was
really
the
busy.
very first time that I'd ever done a set of all my own songs. And I think just having that in my mind of, what if people don't like this? And what if people say I'm rubbish? And then I thought, that's just what ifs. That's me getting inside my head, like you said. So I
But
just
like,
needed
see,
to go
when
on
you're
and
in that
enjoy it.
nerve-wracking situation, like, I don't know if you've ever thought this, but you look at people and they're like, oh, they whisper something, they must be saying something really bad about me, kind of thing. Like, those kind of things can be in your head in those
Yeah,
moments.
the brain has a funny way of just talking negative all the time. It's always negative thoughts.
I think
but
there is a negativity bias, but I think it can be bypassed by actually achieving the thing. So, like, see, because you've now done that, you've conquered it. So it's not gonna, even if nerves are ever there again, it's never gonna bug you that way.
Yeah,
And I think that's the only way you can really set against nerves is by like just confronting the thing and doing it, and then
Yeah.
you realise, you know, hey, it's never that, and it's never that bad. You know, you go out and everyone loved it, and it was a really good show.
I feel like with that as well, when I actually came off, the same girl says, how was that? And I went, I want to do that all over again.
Yeah,
It was
it's like
amazing.
a magical moment.
Yeah, and it was good to actually see the reception that I was getting as well. Like, especially right at the end, I didn't think I was going to get that loud a cheer. And it made me feel really good as an artist to know that people actually enjoy the music that I enjoy making.
Yeah,
And that's really the only thing that I care about. I don't care about the whole, I want to be the next Taylor Swift. I want to be famous.
you never know.
I do not want that. I want to be able to go to Tesco in my own time.
Right.
But to actually know that there's people that enjoy listening to my music and enjoy it as much as I like making the music is enough for me.
Do you think you'll ever get that moment again? Like, or do you in the sense, like, you're gonna have a really, I mean, Edgefest is probably a good example. You've got that coming up. Do you think that'll be a similar vibe, where you'll be nervous and then you'll do it and then you'll be like, that was amazing, kind of thing?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I think just with the likes of who I'm actually sharing the stage with, like, for example, he's one of my favourite artists, and to actually be on the same bill as him is just wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a few people that I know now just from like TikTok and stuff have actually been commenting saying that they've bought tickets to Edgefest just to see me.
Aww.
So I'm reading it going, wasted
Yeah.
your money, that's crazy. But it's a really nice thing to know that
Yeah.
people are actually going out of their way to just come and see someone that's just going to be an absolute dafty on the stage. But
that's what people kind of, I wouldn't say daft as such, but it's like someone that they can relate to, you know, like.
yeah, I feel like as well, I just want to be able to go out, and especially because I've got a band this time, it's not just me with a stomp box on the stage. There's going to be other people there, and we have had a good few practices and we do sound really good.
That's
So
brilliant, yeah.
I'm just excited now more than nervous, and I think I just need to keep telling myself that it's just all exciting, and just remind myself to just stand on the stage and take it in as well, because you don't really get opportunities like that, especially
No.
as someone that's unsigned. And
Yeah.
it's going to be a huge deal.
It really is a case of what a year can do.
Aye.
Yeah. But like when you wrote that song, and this is something I wanted to ask, right? Because I listened to the songs really analytically. They're similar, like kind of key wise, and is that kind of an Easter egg that it's a part two, a kind of continuation from the in between? Or have I just made that completely up?
I feel like that's just you diving
Okay,
into it
right,
as a
okay.
philosophical man, really.
Okay, fair enough, right.
Not well, the key.
Because it's like one's in between, and then it's, hey guys, I'm not in between anymore. Like I did the thing, you know.
I think with that, like I said, when I wrote in between, I was second year of uni, so I was maybe like 19, 20, and then wrote What a Year Can Do when I was 26.
So it was more than a year.
It was a hefty half a decade long. What a Year Can Do was actually me delving back on the previous year. So in March of 2024, I stood up in McSorley's, and it was the year of like C2C weekend. So I stood up on the stage and I said to myself and to the crowd, if I'm not singing at Country to Country at the Hydro a year from now to the day, I will never sing again. I will never pick up a guitar. And I was like, you might think this is dramatic, but I'm never doing it. Like, it's just a thing.
Okay.
And then 365 days to the day later, I sang at Country to Country in the Hydro.
Brilliant.
So it was just one of those that, again, when that email came through, I just remember thinking, my God, a year ago I said that, and then like that I started thinking about all the stuff I'd done in a year. So I'd done King Tut's,
Yeah.
I'd released my own merchandise, I'd started writing another EP, like all this stuff, re-released my own EP, and was just sort of like, I can't believe how much I've done career-wise, but then also personal. So I don't want to say got rid of a lot of friends, but binned a lot of people off that weren't really serving me anymore in my energy. And then just sort of found my people and stayed in touch with the people that mattered most, and just sort of found myself within the year as well. That it was like as if everything leveled up really. And for me, getting it out on paper just felt really good.
Yeah, and it's funny because when a lot of people check their emails, it's just a really arbitrary task of the day, whereas checking your emails have been some of the happiest days of your life.
Sometimes my stomach drops and I'm like, oh, what do you want? And then I'll read it and I'll be like, oh, I'm there, fine then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's nice. Do you have any future projects any current projects that you're working on just now?
It's mostly been full steam ahead for Edgefest and then also my headline show.
Yeah, tell us a bit about that. When is it going to be?
It's going to be on the 10th of October in McSorley's.
Okay, brilliant.
So it's a Friday night. I've got Erin Ponsonby and Mick and Phil supporting me as well. So
Brilliant.
They are both unsigned country artists too. They're very good. I've got myself and my band, and it's basically just going to be a whole set of just my own songs, a couple of covers thrown in there as well. Again, nerve-wracking. First time I've done it. It's all self-promoted, self-funded. So it's been a long task. So right now, Edgefest and the headliner are the two that I'm focusing on. But I have been writing a lot. I've been writing with like other people as well, which is quite a different experience for me. It's been really good. So probably about this time next year, I'll have my sophomore EP out.
Brilliant.
So
how has it been playing with the band this time?
Amazing.
Right.
It's so good. Like, we had our last practice for Edgefest on Friday night, and then actually going to a gig on the Saturday, and it was just me and my stomp box. I was like, this is rubbish. I want the boys with me. Like, this is so bad. But no, it's really, really good. And they've been really good at bouncing ideas about as well. So, for example, my drummer is one of the drummers for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Cool.
My guitarist at the moment is the guitarist for Cammy Barnes.
Right.
So they're all professionals, and they're all very much on board as well. So I'll always say to them, if you've got any ideas. So I've got a song that's unreleased that's in my set as well, and we actually done the arrangement together. So it's really nice to have other people's ideas and it's not just me.
I think it's also cool when you do those kind of like songs that you haven't released yet live, because then people can be like, oh, what's that song? And then they'll wait for the release. It's just a cool
Well, that
thing
is
to do.
my plan for next year. So obviously with the EP Taylor, I released it and then started doing it live. But this time I'm wanting to just go out and book as many shows as possible and do unreleased music so that people can come and see it. And the only time that they'll get to hear those songs is if they come and hear it live. And then when the time is right, I'll release the EP.
It's definitely an interesting idea. Yeah.
It's totally backwards, but I know
I'd
a
be
couple of
eager
people
to
that
see
it's
how
a
it
couple of
goes.
people it's worked for, and if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to the old way because it was working all right.
But sometimes that's the fun of it when you're being creative, though, isn't it? It's like if something works, even though it works, it's like in every other industry, you might say, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. Whereas for us, like, there's that sense of I just don't want to be bored, you know. So you just want to try new things to see if it can also work, knowing that the thing works already, you know.
I think it's
I don't
always good
think
as well,
any other.
but you've got something to fall back on because then you know it's going to work anyway. So you might as well.
Yeah,
It's like no risk,
it's a
no
nice
reward.
position to be in. And that's actually an interesting quote, because what I was actually going to ask you is, do you have any advice for up and coming artists, particularly female artists that are doing what you do, and at the very beginning of that? Because now you're at a stage where like you've kind of went through that, not so much imposter syndrome, but like that frustrating in between experience, and someone that's come out the other end of it. What would you say to someone that's either in between? I need to stop doing that reference. What would you say to someone that's either in between or like at the very beginning and is feeling kind of daunted, like at the journey?
it's so easy just to be like, don't worry about it, don't be daunted. But honestly,
you're like, be stressed, panic,
so
everyone
stressed. Panic everywhere you go, and basically just remember that there's always someone out there that's better than you. I'm kidding. No, I would actually say that though. Always remember that there's other people that have been doing it longer and will be better than you. Don't be intimidated by them. Learn from them. Ask questions, especially to older people that have been in the industry the most, and not so much the artist, but actually the crew. They seem to know what, like, the ins and outs and the workings of things a lot more than the artist does. But just get your name out there. Get on social media as well, especially as a female, because you've got that kind of roster of girls will relate to you if you've got a relatable story. And if you're maybe at uni and you're wanting to do music, a girl will look at that and go, I'm at uni, I quite like her. And it's genuinely just as easy as that. And just being really present on social media, especially in this day and age, will help a lot. Don't worry about finding your niche too quickly as well. It took me a long time to figure out who Lucy Tay is. And I feel like I'm starting to get it. I'm still learning. And I think that's the thing as well. Constructive criticism is a good thing. If someone's going to come up to you at a gig and just say, you're rubbish, I always ask why. I always say to them, why do you think that? And if they just say, well, you just are, it's usually just that they're drunk and they're wanting a fight, or they're jealous.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with being jealous as well. It drives you to do other things. But if someone says to you maybe that, oh, your guitar's a bit loud, maybe just turn it down.
Yeah.
So don't take everything too personally as well, because this industry is a creative industry and it's meant to be fun. And I think a lot of people forget that, especially when they're starting out, and especially as a woman, getting into places like McSorley's and getting into Maggie's and things like that, and you're the only girl on that night. You can feel pressure, but you shouldn't, because you're the only girl and they must have picked you for a reason.
It's really inspiring.
There is just thinking positively about things, and then also just saying yes to everything. I took the booking for Edgefest before I had a band, and they asked me if I had a band. I emailed them and I said, hi, someone again at McSorley said to be in touch. My name's Lucy Tay, here's my media kit, here's my music. They then emailed back and said, hi Lucy, do you have a band? And I went, of course. And then I phoned Callum, who I knew played drums, and said, you free? Right, cool. Do you know other people that can play instruments? Because I need a band. But saying yes to everything will get you on the right path. And also you might have a path in mind. It's not going to work out that way.
Oh, okay.
So the path is always totally different. And
does it give you a lot of notice, or is it more of a kind of...
It just does it like that. It just, right, that's you, come on.
Yeah.
But no, I think just enjoying it, embracing it, and just being yourself more than anything, because
and that can be quite hard to do.
Yeah, but not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay.
But the thing I think that can hurt more for like younger people doing that, I say that, but like we're like 18. You know, like,
no, back in my day.
No, but like, see, when I've always said this, right? But I think life begins at kind of 17. I've always thought that, because whether it's you go to uni or whether you go to like just a job, or like it's the first time you're kind of experiencing adult situations as a kid still, and your reactions to those certain things might not be how you react maturely later on. So if someone says to you, you're trash, you might take that really personally. And I think especially in creativity, because most of it, if not all of it, like, is from the heart. You know, if you write a song or if you draw a picture, you know, it's not like you're doing a job that like, I go and reply to that email kind of thing. It's like, I put my soul into this, and someone saying it's bad, like that can be soul destroying for someone just starting. But like you say, it's just, you have to take it with goodwill. And I think when goodwill's present, good performances will be too, you know?
Yeah. I always say to myself as well, for me, I don't think that life actually begins that young.
Right.
I think you've got your teens to be rebellious, as we all do. You've got your 20s to have fun, and then your 30s are when you start figuring it out. So I feel like I've still got 3 years of having fun, and then it'll be, right, I'm 30, what are we doing here?
All right.
And just really starting to then come into my own, because your 20s are meant to be fun. You're meant to go out and experience stuff and enjoy your life. And from a creative standpoint as well, I feel like that's when you get the best stories, because there's not much you can write about as a teenager in life. Maybe a couple of heartbreaks and
Maybe, but they seem
some
so
stuff.
much more powerful when you're that age. Even if objectively you can look back on, someone that maybe rejected you. At the time, it was heartbreaking because you've never really experienced anything more. It's only really as you get older and life hits harder and stuff, you can look back and say, right, well, it wasn't that deep, but it felt that deep at the time. And I think that's the thing. Like, as you kind of go through your 20s, you're learning how to process your emotions more, I would say. But yeah, no, I think you're totally right. So, where can people find you?
Right here on this podcast. No, you can
I
find
probably
me.
should have blinked into that smoother.
You can find me
Answer
on.
the question.
I know. Do it now. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. You just type in Lucy Tay Music.
Right.
All the one word. LucyTayMusic.
That sounds like a football chant. L-U-C.
It's class, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me there, and especially as an unsigned artist and a female unsigned artist, I'd appreciate all of the support. Please like, comment, share, buy tickets to my show, come see me, stream my music, help me out, help my sister pay her bills, please. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Lucy, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks for having me. Had fun.
Thanks so much. It's been amazing. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.